morning. Cindy Berthland here with cindyberthland.com, and I am super excited to finally have Leslie Caprow on the podcast today. Leslie and I have worked together for years. She's one of my favorite humans, and we worked together at another company, and now we get to work together with my company, and basically Leslie is a Medicare specialist. So we're both in the insurance world, but when we get into insurance, people start developing a specialty. Like, we find that we're good at a niche and something that we do really well. Well, Leslie is an amazing badass at Medicare and Medicare supplement and all that stuff. So these are the things I don't know anything about. So when my clients need something like this, I refer them to Leslie, but there's a lot of questions about this industry. And so today I wanted to talk a little bit about Medicare, and then she and I are both in premium financing. So there's just a lot of products out there in the insurance world. And I want to touch on those today, but I really wanted to focus on Medicare today because so many of my clients need that, but there's a lot of questions. So, Leslie, I wanted to just kind of talk about some of the things, like the questions that people typically ask or what they need to know about this. Why even Medicare? Why do you have to do it? What's the deal? So I'm just going to turn it over to you, and you tell us kind of what we need to know about this, like the major things.
Got it. And thank you so much for having me on because, I'm a big follower of your podcast, and I always take a snippet away with everything. Of course, I've been in the insurance industry for over 30 years, but like you said, when you find a niche that you're really good at, and you tend to focus that way. So yes. I found Medicare about 10 years ago, partly because I was going to be eligible for Medicare, and I wanted to know more about this. And I realized that as I started my research and understanding it in myself, there were not a lot of people out there that could help me. It was rely on the Medicare website, good luck with that, or talk to somebody at Social Security who, Lord, that's just don't. I can't even. So focusing on Medicare has been something that not only is such a necessary segment of the insurance industry, but I find that I become an advocate for them because it is so complicated. A lot of people, because they just misunderstand it. Okay. Right? This is a federal benefit. Medicare is provided by the federal government, and it has several parts. Part A is hospitalization, that as long as you have worked and paid into the system over 10 years in your lifetime, so those of us who started working at 16, then Part A comes to you premium free. You don't have to pay for it, it's covered. Part B, on the other hand, is everything but hospitalization. So think doctors, laboratories, x-rays, MRIs, it doesn't matter. If it's not done as an inpatient, it's under Part B. And this is where people think that too is free. It's not, because I want free medical, and whatever utopia you live in that thinks that's going to happen, I want to buy the house next door. It doesn't happen. So right now, the baseline premium for Part B is $170.10. Now, higher income earners, and there's a lot of us out there, we will pay more based on something called an income-related monthly adjustment amount. And this is something that even financial planners and CPAs, whether they be a financial planning CPA or just a tax-preparing CPA, it doesn't matter, however they choose to split their time, they don't know about. And when I come and sit down with them and I say, all right, here's a chart, where's your income on here? They realize that they're going to pay, in some cases, considerably more. But that's why having somebody like me, where you can ask these questions well before you turn 65 to start making sure you're doing it right, is really important.
So that would go in line with maybe they need to start taking less income or doing it a proper way so that they're not getting penalized. There's ways to maneuver this money around so that they're not paying so much.
Absolutely. And the time to start doing that is not when you're 64.
Yeah.
It's starting to look at doing it in your 40s, when you are in your prime income earning years, your 40s, your 50s. Put something in place where when you do turn 65 and the government comes looking, you're not going to reach those benchmarks that cause your Medicare to cost more than the average.
So can you give me an idea of what something like that would look like?
Sure. Federal government publishes this, so it's not something you can't find. It's just nobody knows to look for it. So if you are a single person, just filing yourself, the government is going to look when you turn 65 or go on Medicare, okay? They're going to look at your income from 2 years previous. So if you're going on Medicare in 2022, they're going to look at your modified adjusted gross income from 2020. And if you're a single filer, you're allowed to make $91,000. Okay, so that's your adjusted gross, right? And if it's $91,000 or less, you're going to pay the baseline premium. In this year, it's $170.10. But let's say you are a high-income earner and you're making somewhere between $170,000 and $500,000. There are a lot of people out there with that kind of income. Not only do you have to pay the $170.10, all Americans pay the base, but you're going to get hit with an IRMA of an additional $374.20, which will make your monthly premium $544.30.
For one person.
One person. Now, if you're married, filing jointly, the numbers are adjusted for that. So that same income bracket as a single filer would look like married couple between $340,000 and $750,000. They would still have that same income-related monthly adjustment amount, and their premiums would be $544.30. Now again, the federal government adjusts these numbers every October. So we won't know what 2023 looks like until October of 2022. That goes for the baseline premium as well as the income brackets where IRMA falls in. And I always say, who is this Irma and why does she have her hand in my pocket?
Right?
So, yes. But,
no doubt. Wow, these are incredibly important things to know. And how many people get caught up in this and end up totally...
Have no idea because they've spent their life planning their retirement. But what they don't realize is that when they start taking income, whatever that income looks like, it's going to be taxable income. And we have no idea what the tax rate's going to be in 5 years, 10 years. I mean, are taxes going down? No.
Yeah.
That's a gimme.
Yeah.
So if you start planning for tax-free retirement now, and this is where you and I share the niche in premium financing and how to put income into our lives that's tax-free, that's what you need to be figuring out how to do now.
And this is one thing I preach about on this podcast almost daily, at least once a week. I talk about tax-free. There's most people, 90% of Americans right now, live in the tax later bracket, which is the very thing that's going to get you completely messed around on your Medicare. And I always tell people at 65 is not a good time to figure out that you're going to be paying way more than you thought. And it's always good to get with someone like us now, even at 60. Do it the sooner once you know about something, get on it. Because who wants to be paying more? I mean, inflation is already just breaking our necks.
It is.
So it's really time to get serious. I say every day is time to get your money in order. And why would we pay more than our fair share? There's tax now, there's tax later, and there's tax advantage. And everything that we do with premium financing is completely tax advantage. Now, I really wanted to kind of segue into that because you recently got your own premium financing insurance policy. And tell us about that. Like, why did you do that? So I talk about premium financing all the time, but I think it's still in the gray area for a lot of people.
It is.
So tell us what you did and why.
Okay. Partly having looked at IRMA and knowing that I was going to get hit in one of those higher income brackets, I had to start planning my retirement. Now, I've been self-employed for many, many years, so I don't have what people usually have, or traditional IRAs, and those are 401ks, etc. But I knew that I was just going to get killed in taxes. And as I looked at my retirement, and I'm 63, I have no problem saying that, I said, oh my gosh, between Social Security and investments and this, that, and the other thing, I'm going to get eaten alive in taxes. So when I understood the premium financing, where I could put in a third of it and somebody else was going to put in 2/3 of it,
yes,
I'm like, well, okay, why wouldn't I do that? I mean, why wouldn't I? So I'm putting in, all in, it's $125,000 over a 5-year period. So it's not like I had to write a check yesterday. But in 15 years, when this comes to fruition, I'll still be in my mid-70s, and I'm okay with that because I bought this at 60.
Yeah.
I will have a guaranteed for life tax-free income of around $36,000. Now that's $36,000 that I don't have to pay taxes on, that I don't have to worry counts against me, that I can just go, this is great.
It's free money, basically.
Free money.
Yeah.
So between that and annuities and other things, I've put my financial house in order. And while it seems like a lot of money, another bank, basically, because it's a leveraged product, there's somebody else paying 2/3, they're putting in a whole lot more money than I am.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're putting in considerably a lot more money.
And this is what I say, there is no 401k plan out there that will give you $3 to every dollar you put in. And here's the thing, in a 401k, when your boss does match your money, let's say you put in 6%, the boss puts in 6%. But then next month, market crashes 20%.
Yeah.
It's all for nothing. It's gone.
It's gone.
And 401k plans are in the market directly. You can lose money. I have clients right now that are down $150,000. It's awful. It's egregious. And at 60 is not a good time to lose $150,000 when you're on the verge of retiring.
Right.
So these are the type of products. There's so many products out there that you do not have to be directly in the market. Premium financing is one of those things.
It really is.
And you're in the market, but you're not directly in the market. You have an insurance company giving you guarantees. So these are the types of plans that we are just constantly preaching about. And now look at the money you're going to be saving. Not only do you have you're going to have $3,000 a month in tax-free income coming in, but this is going to affect your IRMA. Like this could be saving you $350 a month.
If you think about it, because I don't want to have to pay, what IRMA is going to be asking me to pay, or, is the federal government. And again, these numbers are adjusted for inflation. They're adjusted in algorithms and, antiquated mathematical formulas that, from the 50s. They have yet to update some of them. But the government doesn't care whether you can afford it or not. They're simply going to take it, and that's it. They don't care. Yeah. I have no idea in 2 years what my premium will be for Medicare. Because right now, between 2021 and 2022, the premium increase was 14%. In 2021, it was $140.52 or 50 cents, something like that. In 2022, it jumped to $170.10, the largest increase in history.
And that's about where inflation has been, is right around 14%. And, I keep saying it, in our later years, at age 65, this is not a good time to be paying those increases. You need to prepare today for what's going to happen tomorrow. I hate the fact that seniors in our country are struggling the way they are. Their income is set, but their outgo is not.
No.
It's rising. And these are the things that we can help with, Leslie. And I just appreciate you being here and giving this information. A lot of the listeners are not in the 60s, but whether you be in your 30s, 40s, 50s, you can set up a plan to be really winning.
You really can. I mean, if your health is good and you've got the financial wherewithal, again, it's a 5-year contribution.
Yeah. And that's it, though.
And that's it.
Most of our plans are a
30-year insurance premiums. And, you know, when tragedy hits you, and gosh, you know, everybody's life has some tragedy in it, what's the first thing you start to say? Well, I just can't afford to make that premium anymore.
Yeah. And then you
waste
it all. Yeah.
And you don't get it back. There's
right.
no premium refund if you don't pay it. But in this plan, you know, depending on your age, clearly, but you can invest as little as $25,000.
One time
per year. So that's $125 over 5 years, and get $60,000+ 15 years later.
Yeah.
Now, whether you choose to take it in 15 years, that's up to you. It's just going to continue to grow with compounding, and that's the beauty of compounding. But we didn't even talk about the fact that it still has other benefits. It still has living benefits. If I needed to pull the money out, I could. I'm never going to lose money. Right? Nobody's ever going to lose money. And at the end, if I live to 80 or 90, which no reason why I wouldn't with modern medicine and good health, there's still going to be a death benefit, even though I've been pulling money out for years, that I can still leave as a legacy.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can't do that with traditional life. It's
right.
a death
and think about, like, now in the world today, you know, they say 80% of us are going to come down with cancer, heart attack, stroke, kidney failure, something to that effect, and not die. But we're going to need to take time off work or whatever to handle those things.
Right.
And these are the type of policies that are going to take, your money will be handled.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine having to go through something as egregious as cancer, but then you're losing income to take care of it, to get better. So there's just so many bells and whistles with these types of plans, but I just wanted to bring this alive today and make sure that people understood what Medicare was about. But Leslie's such a big believer in premium financing. I'm like, you're living it because you have the plan. And I wanted her to talk about this. But if this conversation interests you and you want to learn more, please get a hold of us. Leslie, how do we get a hold of you?
It's easy. If you want to email me, it's medicare2014@gmail.
Okay.
Or you can call or text me at 702-503-0866.
Awesome. And also, I want to encourage you, if you guys need to know more, get a hold of me at cindyberkland.com. Let's have a conversation.